Have you ever felt like everything you've been told about life is a lie? That beneath the surface of society's promises of happiness, success, and love, there's something deeper, something we've been ignoring. This isn't your average self-help talk. It's raw, unfiltered wisdom rooted in Stoicism, designed to shake your foundations and make you question everything you thought you knew. If you have the courage to confront the truths that most people shy away from, then you're in the right place. These lessons are not for the faint-hearted, but for those who truly want to understand what it means to live a life of meaning and purpose. Ready to uncover the reality behind the illusions? Let's dive in. 1. Your comfort zone is your coffin. What is it about comfort that draws us in so deeply? Why do we cling to what is familiar, even when it suffocates our potential? We've been told that a comfortable life is a successful one, that the ultimate goal is to reach a place where we can avoid challenges and live in peace. But is that really living, or is it merely existing? In Stoicism, comfort is seen not as a goal but as a trap, a seductive lie that whispers to us to stay safe, to avoid risk, to keep things predictable. But what it doesn't tell you is that comfort is where dreams go to die. It's where your potential gets buried beneath layers of complacency. Your comfort zone is your coffin, a place where you might feel safe, but where you are not truly alive. Think about your own life. How many times have you stayed in a job you despised because it was familiar, or clung to a relationship that no longer served you because it felt safe? How often have you chosen the easy path simply because the difficult one seemed too daunting? These choices might have spared you discomfort in the short term, but what have they cost you in the long run? When we avoid discomfort, we also avoid the very experiences that shape us, that build resilience, and that reveal who we truly are. Growth, as Stoic philosophy teaches, comes not from sitting comfortably, but from facing challenges head-on, from stepping into the unknown, and from embracing failure as a part of the journey. This is where true wisdom and strength are forged, not in ease, but in struggle. Look at those who inspire you. Do you think athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, and adventurers reached their heights by staying comfortable? Did they avoid the pain of failure, or did they learn to see it as a stepping stone to success? In the world of Stoicism, this is the essence of life: to confront what is difficult, to push against the boundaries of what we think we can endure, and to emerge stronger for it. What might happen if you started to see discomfort not as something to avoid, but as a guide leading you toward your true self? How would your life change if, instead of fearing the unknown, you welcomed it? Remember, each time you step out of your comfort zone, you take a step towards the person you were meant to become. Growth begins where your comfort zone ends. Let me share a personal story. Years ago, I was trapped in a job that paid well but left me feeling empty. The daily routine became my comfort zone, a prison I built for myself out of fear of the unknown. It wasn't until I finally decided to leave, to face the uncertainty of what might come next, that I discovered my true passion. That leap into discomfort changed my life, but it came with struggle and failure. Each misstep, however, taught me resilience, shaped my character, and ultimately led me to a life worth living. So, how do you break free from your comfort zone? Start small. Take cold showers to toughen your mind. Speak up when you would rather stay silent. Say yes to opportunities that scare you. Each of these small acts of courage is a hammer breaking the walls of the coffin that comfort has built around you. Remember, the Stoics believed that discomfort is not the enemy. It is the gateway to self-discovery and growth. As you ponder this lesson, ask yourself, what is one thing I can do today that will push me beyond my comfort zone? What risk have I been avoiding because it scares me? Growth awaits on the other side of that fear. Stay tuned for the next lesson, where we'll explore the role of sacrifice in achieving a meaningful life. If you thought stepping out of your comfort zone was challenging, wait until you hear why you need to give up what you value most to find true fulfillment. 2. Sacrifice is essential. Why do we hesitate when faced with the idea of sacrifice? Why does the mere thought of giving up something we cherish fill us with dread? In today's world, where comfort and convenience are sold as the keys to happiness, the idea of sacrifice seems outdated. Yet, the Stoics taught us that true fulfillment does not come without a price. They believed that to attain anything of value, we must be willing to part with something else. Sacrifice is the currency with which we purchase our dreams. Think about it. What is the most meaningful achievement in your life? Did it come easily, or did it require you to make difficult choices, to let go of certain comforts or pleasures? Perhaps you sacrificed countless hours to develop a skill, or maybe you gave up financial stability to pursue a passion. Sacrifice is the foundation of greatness. It's the unspoken rule behind every triumph. The truth is, when you sacrifice something valuable, you are not merely giving it up. You are making space for something greater. Imagine a sculptor chipping away at a block of marble, removing bits that seem valuable on their own. But with each strike, a masterpiece slowly emerges. Your sacrifices are those chisel marks, each one revealing more of the person you are meant to become. Yet we often resist this process. We cling to comfort, to the illusion that we can have it all without giving anything up. But deep down, you know it isn't true. To achieve something new, you must first make room for it. As Stoic wisdom teaches, no great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. I remember a time in my life when I faced a choice that required great sacrifice. I had a stable job, a good salary, and a comfortable routine. Yet inside, I felt an emptiness, a longing for something more. My passion was writing, but to pursue it meant leaving behind the security of my old life. It meant sacrificing financial stability, social status, and the predictability of a career I had built over years. The decision was terrifying. There were many nights filled with uncertainty, where I questioned whether I had made a mistake. But it was through that sacrifice that I found true fulfillment. I struggled, I failed, but each failure taught me something new. Each hardship revealed another layer of who I truly was. In letting go of what was comfortable, I found a path that was difficult but infinitely more rewarding. What about you? What is it that you desire most, and what are you willing to give up to achieve it? Are you willing to trade some comfort today for a greater reward tomorrow? In Stoicism, the idea of sacrifice is not about deprivation. It's about prioritization. It's about choosing the pain of discipline over the regret of missed opportunities. If you want to build a successful career, you might need to sacrifice leisure time or sleep. If you want to be healthy, you might need to give up indulgent foods or lazy weekends. If you long for deeper relationships, it may mean sacrificing superficial connections to focus on a few that truly matter. But remember, every sacrifice you make is a step toward the life you envision. In the end, sacrifice is not a loss, it is a gain. It is the price you pay to transform your dreams into reality. As you reflect on this lesson, ask yourself, what sacrifices have I made, and what have they taught me about myself? What am I holding on to that I need to let go of in order to reach my true potential? Prepare yourself, because the next lesson is about expectation and the suffering it brings. If you think letting go of comfort and making sacrifices are difficult, wait until you hear how our own expectations trap us in cycles of disappointment. Stay with me, and let's uncover this hard truth together. 3. Expectation. is the root of misery. Have you ever wondered why disappointment stings so deeply? Why is it that our plans and dreams, when they don't come to fruition, leave us feeling lost, angry, or hurt? The Stoics believed that much of our suffering comes not from the world around us, but from our own expectations. To them, expectation is the root of misery, and if we want to find peace, we must learn to let go of what we think the world owes us. Think back to the last time you were truly disappointed. What was it that made you feel that way? Perhaps it was a friend who let you down, a job promotion that never materialized, or a relationship that fell short of what you hoped for. In each case, wasn't it your expectation of what should have happened that caused the pain, not the reality itself? This gap between expectation and reality is where suffering lives. We've all been taught to expect certain things. We expect our friends to be there for us, our careers to progress smoothly, and our relationships to fulfill us. We expect life to follow our plans, but life, as the Stoics remind us, is unpredictable. The world is not bound by our desires or our expectations, and the sooner we accept this, the sooner we can find true peace. Let me share a personal story. For years, I believed that my career would follow a certain trajectory. I worked hard, set ambitious goals, and expected the rewards to follow. But life had other plans. Promotions didn't come when I thought they would. Opportunities slipped through my fingers, and I found myself feeling bitter and defeated. It wasn't until I let go of these rigid expectations that I began to find contentment. I learned to appreciate the journey itself, rather than fixate on the destination. In Stoicism, this idea is central, that our suffering is self-inflicted, born of our desire for things to be different than they are. When we release our grip on how we think things should be, we open ourselves to the beauty of what is. Instead of clinging to an idealized version of life, we can embrace reality with all its imperfections. This doesn't mean we should have no aspirations or goals. Rather, it means we should strive without attaching our happiness to the outcome. Focus on what is within your control, your efforts, your actions, and let go of the rest. As Epictetus said, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. Your reaction to events is within your power, even when the events themselves are not. So, how can we begin to free ourselves from the burden of expectations? Start by recognizing when you are clinging to a specific outcome. Ask yourself, am I suffering because of the situation or because it didn't match my expectations? This awareness is the first step toward freeing yourself from the pain of unmet desires. Next, practice gratitude for what you have now, instead of longing for what you think you deserve. When we shift our focus from what's missing to what's present, we can find joy in the smallest of things. Remember, life owes you nothing. Every moment is a gift, not a given. Let go of the need for things to unfold according to your plan. Embrace uncertainty as a part of the human experience. The Stoics understood that to resist reality is to invite suffering, but to flow with it is to find peace. Accept that not everything will turn out the way you wish, and you'll discover a deeper resilience within yourself. As you reflect on this lesson, ask yourself, what expectations are you holding on to that are causing you pain? How might your life change if you released those expectations and accepted reality for what it is? Now, before we move on to the next lesson, I urge you to stick with this video. The lessons that follow will continue to challenge your beliefs and guide you toward a life of deeper meaning. Each one builds on the last, helping you understand how to navigate life's complexities with wisdom and grace. Don't miss out on the truths that could change your perspective forever. Let's continue this journey together. 4. Patience is power. Why do we struggle so much with waiting? In a world that demands instant results, we've been conditioned to believe that faster is better, that waiting is a sign of weakness, a waste of time. But is it really? The Stoics saw patience as a profound strength, one that allows us to endure, to persevere, and ultimately to achieve far more than those who constantly rush toward their desires. Patience is power, and it holds the key to a life of true depth and fulfillment. Think about the natural world for a moment. A tree doesn't grow overnight. A river doesn't carve a valley in a single day. Everything worth having takes time to develop, to mature. Yet, as humans, we often forget this simple truth. We want success now, happiness now, love now. And when these things don't arrive on our schedule, we feel frustrated, disappointed, even defeated. But is this impatience serving us, or is it robbing us of the joy that comes from the journey itself? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "No great thing is suddenly created any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time." The message is clear. Greatness and wisdom are not the products of haste. They are the fruits of patience, cultivated through time, effort, and a willingness to endure the seasons of life. But how can we learn to cultivate patience in a world that values speed above all else? It starts with changing the way we view time. Patience isn't about passive waiting, it's about active endurance. It's the ability to keep moving forward, even when progress is slow, even when obstacles arise. It's trusting that your efforts will bear fruit, even if you can't yet see the results. I remember a time when I wanted everything immediately. Success in my career, fulfillment in my relationships, clarity in my purpose. I thought that if I just worked harder and pushed faster, I would achieve all my goals. But life had other lessons in store for me. The more I rushed, the more I stumbled. The more I chased after results, the more they eluded me. It wasn't until I embraced the power of patience that I began to see real progress. Patience taught me to trust the process. It taught me that setbacks are not failures, but stepping stones. That delays are not denials, but opportunities for growth. It's in those moments of waiting that we often find our greatest strength, our deepest insights. Think about your own life. Have you ever noticed that the most meaningful achievements often come after a period of struggle and persistence? How many times have you found that what you gained after a long wait was far more valuable than anything you obtained quickly? Stoicism reminds us that patience is not only about waiting for external outcomes. It's also about being patient with ourselves. We often rush our own growth, trying to become better, faster, more successful. But true transformation takes time. We need to allow ourselves the space to grow, to evolve at our own pace, without harsh judgment or unrealistic expectations. It's not a race, it's a journey, one that unfolds in its own time. Imagine a sculptor working with marble. Each strike of the chisel is a deliberate act, a patient effort to reveal the beauty hidden within the stone. Rushing the process would only lead to mistakes, to a sculpture that is incomplete, lacking the refinement that comes from careful, patient work. Your life is like that block of marble. It is shaped not by a single action, but by many patient efforts over time. So, how do you practice patience in your daily life? Start by setting realistic expectations for yourself and others. Understand that great things require time, and that the path to wisdom and fulfillment is rarely a straight line. Practice mindfulness to stay present, focusing on the task at hand rather than obsessing over the future. When faced with setbacks, remind yourself that patience is not just about waiting, it's about enduring with purpose. As you reflect on this lesson, ask yourself, where in your life could you benefit from more patience? What opportunities have you missed because you were in too much of a hurry? What might unfold if you allowed yourself to slow down and trust the timing of your journey? The next lesson will push you to look at relationships in a new way, as we explore why friendships, like all things, are impermanent. If you thought patience required strength, wait until you hear how embracing the impermanence of those around us can free you from unnecessary pain. Let's continue this exploration into the deeper truths of life. 5. Friends are not forever. Why is it so difficult to accept that friendships, like all things in life, are impermanent? We often hear that true friends stick with us through thick and thin, that they will always be by our side. But is this expectation realistic, or does it set us up for heartache? Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept the transient nature of all relationships, to understand that people come into our lives for a time and a purpose, but that nothing in life is meant to last forever. Think back to your childhood friends, to the people you thought would always be a part of your life. How many of them are still with you today? Perhaps you had a close friend during high school or college, someone with whom you shared your dreams and fears. But as the years passed, your paths diverged. Maybe they moved to a different city, got married, or simply changed in ways that made your connection fade. Was it wrong for that friendship to end, or was it simply a part of life's natural rhythm? In Stoicism, we learn that clinging to things, whether material possessions, status, or even relationships, leads to suffering. When we expect our friendships to remain unchanged, we set ourselves up for disappointment. But when we accept that everything, including our relationships, is subject to change, we free ourselves from unnecessary pain. Instead of mourning the loss of a friendship, we can appreciate the time we had together and move forward without bitterness. The truth is that people change, circumstances shift, interests and priorities evolve. It's natural for friendships that once felt essential to become less central to our lives. This doesn't mean those friendships were failures. On the contrary, they served their purpose during a certain chapter of our lives, helping us grow and providing support when we needed it. The end of a friendship doesn't erase its value. I remember a close friend I had in my early career, a colleague who became like a brother to me. We spent long nights discussing our aspirations and helping each other navigate the challenges of our jobs. But as our careers took different directions, we saw each other less and less. At first, I felt a deep sense of loss, as if a part of me was missing. But over time, I realized that our friendship had given me exactly what I needed at that time, and that its natural end made space for new connections and experiences. So, how do we deal with the reality that friends are not forever? First, we must cherish the moments we share with those close to us. When you are with a friend, be fully present. Enjoy the laughter, the shared experiences, the understanding that flows between you. Don't waste time worrying about how long the friendship will last. Focus on the quality of the time you have together now. Second, understand that it's okay for relationships to change. It's okay to drift apart. Life pulls us in different directions, and just as a river flows along different paths, so too do our connections with others. This isn't a failure. It's a natural part of growth. Embrace it, and you will find yourself better able to adapt to the changes that come your way. And third, remember that you are your own best friend. Cultivate a relationship with yourself that is nurturing and supportive. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from within, not from external sources. When you learn to be content in your own company, you become less dependent on others for your sense of self-worth. You become more resilient in the face of life's changes and more open to the new people who will enter your life. As you reflect on this lesson, ask yourself, which friendships have I clung to, even though they have run their course? How can I better appreciate the relationships in my life without needing them to last forever? What might change if I embraced the idea that people come into my life for a season and that it's okay when that season ends? Now, I want to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you had a friendship that ended, And if so, how did you cope with it? Did it teach you something about yourself or about the nature of relationships? Let's engage in this conversation together, and perhaps we can all learn a bit more about letting go and embracing change. Up next, we'll delve into a lesson that many find hard to accept, that chasing love is often a path to disappointment. If you've ever felt that love is something you must pursue, you won't want to miss what comes next. Let's continue this journey into the deeper truths of life. 6. Stop chasing love. Why do we feel such a desperate need to seek out love, to make it the central focus of our lives? Society has sold us the idea that love is something we must actively chase, that without a partner to complete us, we are somehow incomplete. But is this really true? Stoicism offers a different perspective, one that suggests love is not something you find by searching for it, but rather something that finds you when you're busy living your best life. Think about the times you have chased love. Perhaps you went on countless dates, shaped yourself to fit the desires of others, or compromised your values in the hope of finding that elusive connection. How often did these pursuits end in disappointment, frustration, or even heartbreak? The more we chase love, the more it seems to slip through our fingers. But why is that? In the eyes of the Stoics, love is not a prize to be won. It is not a goal to be achieved or a destination to reach. It is a natural byproduct of living a life that is true to yourself. When you focus on your own growth, your passions, and your well-being, you radiate a confidence and joy that naturally attracts others. Instead of trying to mold yourself to fit someone else's expectations, you become a magnet for the kind of love that truly matters, one that is based on mutual respect and shared values. I can recall a time when I, too, believed that love was something I had to actively pursue. I went through a series of relationships, each time hoping that this person might be the one. But in my eagerness to find love, I lost sight of who I was. I tried to become what I thought others wanted, only to feel more empty and disconnected from myself. It wasn't until I stopped chasing love and started focusing on myself that I found a relationship that truly mattered. The lesson here is simple, yet profound. Stop chasing love and let it come to you. When you stop trying to find someone to complete you, you begin to discover the wholeness that already exists within you. This is a core teaching of Stoicism, that true contentment comes from within, not from external sources. Love, in its truest form, is not about finding someone to fill a void, but about being whole on your own and sharing that completeness with another. So how do you stop chasing love? Start by investing in yourself. Pursue your passions, develop your talents, and surround yourself with people who uplift you. Create a life that you love, one that doesn't rely on another person's presence to feel meaningful. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally attract people who resonate with your energy and values. Next, be open to genuine connections, but don't force them. True love is not something you can manufacture through effort or willpower. It often appears when you least expect it, in the moments when you are simply being your authentic self. Don't settle for relationships that require you to compromise your sense of self. Instead, wait for the connection that comes effortlessly, that feels like a natural extension of the life you've built. And most importantly, cultivate self-love. Learn to appreciate your own company, to find joy in solitude. The Stoics taught that self-mastery is the key to happiness, and this includes mastering the art of being alone without feeling lonely. When you love yourself fully, you are no longer dependent on external validation. You become a source of love rather than a seeker of it. As you reflect on this lesson, ask yourself, how often have I compromised myself in the pursuit of love? What might happen if I shifted my focus inward, working on becoming the best version of myself instead of searching for someone else to make me happy? How would my perspective on relationships change if I believed that love is something that finds me when the time is right? Up next, we'll challenge the notion that following the crowd is the path to wisdom. If you've ever struggled with the pressure to conform to popular opinions, you'll want to hear why the Stoics believed that the majority is often wrong. Stay with me, and let's continue to uncover these powerful lessons. 7. The majority is often wrong. Have you ever found yourself going along with what everyone else believes, even when a voice inside you whispers that something doesn't quite add up? Why do we follow the crowd so easily? Is it because we believe that the majority must be right? Or is it because we fear standing alone? Stoic philosophy teaches us to be wary of the allure of conformity, to understand that the majority is often wrong. Just because an idea is widely accepted doesn't mean it is true. History is filled with examples where popular belief led entire societies astray. Think about it. At one time, the majority believed that the Earth was flat, that the sun revolved around our planet, and that certain groups of people were less deserving of basic rights and freedoms. These beliefs were accepted not because they were true, but because they were convenient or served the interests of those in power. It took courageous individuals who dared to challenge these views to change the course of history. Would you have been one of those voices, or would you have gone along with the crowd? In the Stoic tradition, wisdom is found not by following the herd, but by thinking critically and questioning what others take for granted. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, often reminded himself that public opinion is a poor guide to what is true and right. He urged himself to seek his own path, guided by reason and virtue rather than the shifting tides of popular belief. Why is this so important? Because when we blindly follow the crowd, we surrender our ability to see the world clearly. We let fear of being different, fear of ridicule, keep us from exploring new ideas and discovering deeper truths. But the Stoics believed that true freedom comes from independence of thought. To them, the wise person is one who is willing to stand alone if necessary, who has the courage to see things as they are rather than as others say they should be. I learned this lesson early in life, and it wasn't an easy one. Growing up, I often found myself questioning things that everyone around me seemed to accept without hesitation. I was labeled as difficult, as rebellious, and I struggled with the discomfort of standing apart from the crowd. But as I grew older, I began to see that many of the truths people clung to were simply convenient lies, comfortable fictions that helped them avoid facing harder realities. By daring to ask difficult questions, I discovered a deeper sense of clarity and purpose. So, how do we apply this lesson in our own lives? It starts with a willingness to question everything, even those ideas that seem universally accepted. Ask yourself, does this belief make sense? What evidence supports it? Who benefits from it being widespread? Don't take things at face value. Dig deeper, seek out diverse perspectives, and never be afraid to challenge the status quo. Next, surround yourself with people who challenge you rather than simply agreeing with you. Engage in conversations with those who hold different viewpoints, not to argue or convince them, but to expand your understanding of the world. It's through these exchanges that we refine our own thoughts and grow closer to the truth. And finally, be open to changing your mind. This is a hallmark of Stoic wisdom, recognizing that we are all fallible, that our understanding is always evolving. There is strength in admitting when you are wrong, in being willing to let go of beliefs that no longer serve you. As Epictetus said, it is impossible for a person to learn what they think they already know. As you reflect on this lesson, ask yourself, what beliefs have you accepted without question? How might your life change if you allowed yourself to see the world through your own eyes, rather than through the lens of popular opinion? What truths might you discover if you had the courage to stand apart from the crowd? Remember, the majority is often wrong, but that doesn't mean you have to be. By embracing the Stoic practice of critical thinking, you can navigate life with greater clarity and integrity. The path to wisdom is not the easy one, but it is the one that leads to a life of authenticity and purpose. We've explored 7 powerful Stoic lessons that challenge us to see life in a new light. They ask us to step out of our comfort zones, to embrace sacrifice, to let go of expectations, to practice patience, to accept the impermanence of friendships, to stop chasing love, and to think for ourselves. These truths are not always easy to hear, but they offer a path to a more fulfilling and resilient life. Now, I invite you to take action. Share your thoughts in the comments. What lesson resonated with you the most? Have you experienced a time when questioning popular opinion led you to a deeper truth? Let's continue this conversation and help each other grow. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit from these Stoic insights. Let's spread the wisdom of Stoicism and create a community of those who seek to live with purpose and clarity. Thank you for watching, and may your journey be filled with wisdom and inner strength.